What's going on, everybody? It's Slang Dutchman here, and today I have a interesting video. I did the last one and someone tried to beat me on GT to see how similar it is, and that gave me the inspiration to sort of do a similar project, and that was to compare project cars, Assetto Corsa and GT Sport together. Now those three games have they all three have a Toyota GT86 in them as a stock form, and also have the Nürburgring GP track in them. So I decided to take the car out as it is, as a stock form, start doing a timed lap, and I just picked the average best laps that I did. Bear in mind, I'm a drifter, I'm not a racer. I can do a pretty decent lap, but I'm not always on the driving line or giving too heavy inputs, or you see me sliding around a little bit. For anyone who's watching this who is like more of a diehard racer, you might cringe a little bit, but that doesn't matter, because for this experiment I'm just doing my average for what I can do, which is also taking account the physics of the game, which, like, what game is easier to control. It was an interesting one. Let's just start off with the first one, which will be project cars. So here we go. As you can see, we just start off the straight where I started recording it, and well, this car, just for the information, has 200 horsepower, in comparison to the one that was in Assetto Corsa, who had 198. So there's 2 horsepower difference, and I think there was 20 kilos in weight difference. This one being the more heavier one, I think. That said, Gran Turismo is a little bit more. Hold on. Gran Turismo was in between. No wait, this had 204 horsepower, and GT was 200 horsepower, and Assetto Corsa was 198, and then the weight just was also right in the middle. So as a stock form, they were all pretty similar to drive, but as you can see, also with the wheel cam in the bottom, I was struggling quite a bit to get this, just to keep this on the road. The car felt very loose and very slidey. Also, as soon as it's kind of broke out, there was no power to sort of keep the drift going, to catch the drift and just, you know, at least make the best of a shit situation. So sort of died out, which resulted in snap steer to like it snaps back as soon as you counter steer, and I was expecting this to be a very slow lap, and well, I think project cars in general the car feels just more heavy and more I don't know, more loose on the suspension. But anyway, here's where we did one lap, and as you can see, oh wait, you can't see, because there's a sort of a lock, or like there's no on-screen data, sorry, that's what I wanted to say. But my lap was a 2 minute and 35 seconds, which I had no reference, so I was like 2 minutes 35. I did a few laps and I was sliding all around, and I was like, well, that's a thing of the game, so, you know, fuck that, they're gonna move on to the next one. So 2 minutes 35 to beat, and after project cars I hopped into Assetto Corsa, which I'm gonna play right now. So here we are on Assetto Corsa, I did a lap time previous of 2 minutes and 43 seconds, which I was like, that's not okay. We need to improve that a little bit. But as you can see, also this car was a little bit slidey, down on power. But as you can see, the minute this car steps out, I was able to counter steer and catch it. And I think if it's a racing game, you should also have good drift physics, because if you don't have the good drift physics, as soon as the car starts to slide, you want to be able to catch it, right? And not just let the physics act up and become weird and you throw yourself off the course, or just unrealistic car movement. So I think Assetto Corsa therefore is a very good racing game, because they have the drifting physics pretty good. Also, I was more confident with the car therefore, because as soon as it started to slide, I was able to like counter steer, throttle out, and just keep it on the track and position it where I wanted it. I was struggling a little bit with the no ABS, but I was getting used to it slowly, bit by bit. I felt that this car also it sounded more aggressive, more faster, but that's just on the sound part. Also, it felt faster though driving it, because of how much more stable the car was. I went a little bit off track here, but I counted it this tarmac there for a reason. But overall, this game, Assetto Corsa, feels way more stable, way more controlled, and way more predictable. No weird snap, no nothing. Also, I haven't tuned the car, the same as in Project Cars. I just took the car as that the game says, this is how we think a stock GT86 is. So comparing those, I would definitely say Assetto Corsa is the better game. But as we coming close to the finish line, as you can see, it's a way cleaner lap. There's way less weird twitching mistakes. There's a little bit of sliding going on, but it was same as in Project Cars, but way more momentum. And then I finished off with a 2 minute and 41 seconds, as you just saw, which is 6, almost 7 seconds slower. Now, if you compare these two laps, they're both not great. I said in the beginning, I'm a drifter, I'm not a racer, so there are mistakes. But comparing the two videos, I make mistakes in both laps, both games. But I think the Project Cars one, the first one, looks way sloppier, but it's 7 seconds quicker. And I know if you clean up your act, you can nibble a few seconds, like tenths of a seconds here and here and here, and it adds up to like a few seconds at the end. But 7 seconds is a lot. And the way I drove on Project Cars is not 7 seconds quicker, so that has all to do with the game. Also, the tires, I just took the street tires out on the Assetto Corsa. They were automatically set in Project Cars, but that felt kind of similar. Like if I dumped the clutch in first gear, I had wheel spin, and in second gear it was already sort of dying out and not really being able to spin the tires. And as soon as I get like with a little bit of speed and momentum, and I chuck it in and I clutch kick it or somewhat, then second gear would spin. So the grip levels were kind of similar still. There was not a big difference in that. So the fact that it's 7 seconds quicker is, for me, I think, because also Project Cars has tracks like Suzuka in them, but it's called a little bit different. And it looks like Suzuka, but it's not Suzuka. So I think they used a little bit of fantasy there as well, because I don't know if the tracks are laser scanned. I know Assetto is and GT Sport is, and maybe it's not laser scanned and the scale is not correctly, therefore being able to run 7 seconds quicker. That's because I thought the laps were pretty similar, and if I had to choose, then Project Cars was more sloppy, so it was not like an obvious 7 seconds quicker. But anyways, let's head into GT Sport. So here we are on GT Sport, definitely the best looking game of all, most realistic game looking. I was surprised on how much this feels more like Assetto than Project Cars did. Like the same sort of stability or control you had over the car. Overshooting this corner by a lot, but still I was like, you know what, I don't even care. I did a few test laps and I was like, this has to be the one to make it more of the average, not like a pristine lap, because the other ones had little problems with little mistakes as well. So if this had a few mistakes, but this as well, as you can see, it just kicks out a little bit, and just sort of pedaling with the wheel, counter steering it, and being able to at least keep your momentum going forward. No weird snaps like Project Cars did. So also thinking this was the most unrealistic one, I was expecting Gran Turismo to be the fastest one of them all and get the quickest time. But I had no idea when I was driving. I was like, yeah, I think it's quicker, but it felt so similar to Assetto Corsa. And after I did Project Cars as the first one and was 7 seconds quicker as Assetto Corsa, I had no idea anymore. I was like, the game can differ so much, and just I had no clue at that point. Also, these corners way easier to do. Just chuck it in, hold grip, get a clean line through there. Also, my driving on this game, on GT Sport, looks way better than the other two. Better racing line, better speeds. On average, I think this is the most clean looking lap. So by looks of it, without any timers, if you're just looking at it, this should be the fastest. I think this looks as the fastest time. Funny thing is, all cars on the straight were doing around 180 kilometers an hour before I needed to brake. So the top speeds that I was managed to do on the straight were all kind of similar. And then here we come up to the finish line. And we top it out with a 2 minute and 39 seconds. So it's 2 seconds faster than Assetto Corsa, but 3 seconds, 4 seconds? Was the 35? Yeah, 2 minute 35 for Project Cars, a 2 minute 41 for Assetto Corsa, and a 2 minute 39 for Gran Turismo Sport. So it's like right in the middle. So my prediction of GT Sport being the fastest game was not true. Turns out GT Sport and Assetto are way more similar, or way more similar than I thought they would be, especially hopping like from one game to the other, like back to back, same car, same track, and just how good they were and how easy it was to adapt. Project Cars I struggled a lot harder with. Also, the car felt differently. Out of the three, that was the weird one. And I was 7 seconds quick. So my conclusion is that Project Cars is the least sim game out of the three. I think Assetto is the best one, and Gran Turismo has a good second place, and Project Cars just, I don't know, it feels slower, but you're actually faster, so, or the track is not correct, and the way the car handles, I don't think it's realistic to have a car like that is so loose. There's no middle ground almost, unless you're like non-throttling, and even that on momentum starts to slide immediately. Very hard to control compared to the other two games, which feel way more realistic. So there you have it. Please like this video if you liked it. Try it out for yourself. If you have any of these three games, just pick a car or pick the GT86 on Nürburgring GP track, and then just stock car, stock everything. On Assetto Corsa was on the street tires, Project Cars was just automatically set, and GT Sport was on the Comfort Softs, I believe. It was just behind my camera, but Comfort Soft I thought were the most equivalent to the other two types of tires in terms of how much wheel spin do you get, how much grip, what was the grip level of the tire. Those were, I think, the most equal. So you could try them out for yourself if you want, and thank you all for watching. Till next time, peace.
Whether you like it